Hey guys, welcome back to the Vegan View. So you'll notice this episode is a little bit different today, and that's because we kind of felt this urgent need to talk about what's been on our hearts lately. As you guys know, we're best friends in real life, and so we have a lot of conversations off camera, and sometimes, like this one in particular, we were like, we need to film this, because I know there's probably a lot of you guys.
And a lot of you guys are like, please chime in about the Bonnie Rebecca video, and we weren't planning on doing it because we don't normally do these types of videos, but we thought what we were kind of talking about and kind of the experience that we had watching it and then watching the community go about it could help a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's not just Bonnie. There's been a lot of people in the past, and there will be people in the future who are vegan and come out and say that they're not vegan anymore, and I think it strikes up a lot of emotions, and I feel like we should talk about why we feel so strongly about it and how to deal with those feelings.
Yeah, so we just wanted to say that this is not specifically about one person in particular. We really want to talk about the way that the community reacted to it. If those of you are feeling uncomfortable or you're feeling afraid to be vegan, we want to talk about that and comfort you a little bit. And also, we want to address the ugly, ugly side of the vegan community that we've seen, and you guys have probably also seen through this process if you've been following along on the internet.
And this is why we started the show.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I think that it really kind of makes veganism very tribal, and there's like all these different camps without realizing that we're all on the same team. So that's our primary intention for making this video, is that we want to address that and kind of explain how we feel about that.
Yeah. And Nicole has like a video about pretty much how to deal with it from other people's, like if you're feeling kind of pressed or shocked or feeling really down about it. She has a really good video about that.
Thanks.
Popping off.
It's on my channel. We'll link it down below.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. It's a really good video. But let's start off talking about like how we felt when that was happening, because I know, especially for you, Bonny Rebecca was like a huge key in your veganism.
Yeah. I had just gotten done. I'd been at Thrive Market and I was shooting in their test kitchen. I was making a vegan recipe and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I feel like a real YouTuber, right? And like in my mind, when I think of a real like vegan YouTuber, like Bonny Rebecca is definitely one of those people. So I literally had just done that. I was getting in the car and then I saw your text and you were like, oh my gosh.
Such a spaz.
I was like, because she gets YouTube alerts on her phone, and so she's like my version of Twitter. I don't need Twitter because I have NISHA. And so
it's true.
Yeah, and she's
I am Turbo.
So she said it and I was like, no way. Like I think I was just in shock.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think we all thought it was like clickbaity, because she's done a video like
and that's a great
not
video,
be vegan,
actually.
and it's bomb.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember I was at a media event and I was just like, I can't watch it right now. Please tell me what's going on. Like, what's going on in the video?
I watched it really fast.
Oh, and then she was texting us what was going. It was just like, there were so many emotions, especially because Bonny Rebecca is such a huge idol, for a sense. You know, like when vegan YouTube like kind of popped off, it was like a very idolization, like you can be vegan and thin and young and beautiful, and you'll have clear skin, you'll lose a ton of weight. Like that was
eat a ton.
That was kind of that was a lot of what vegan YouTube was.
Yeah. And her especially, she was kind of like the queen of that.
And because she's beautiful, like
So
what
beautiful.
a gorgeous young woman, and like very well spoken, very smart, very inquisitive, like a good role model.
She was such a good representation of what veganism is, and she embodied the compassionate part of it, and also the idea of being able to eat until you're actually full, which I think was the most influential part of her videos.
Yeah,
because for me, like having had an eating disorder, hugely inspirational. So it was definitely just shock, but that's a lot of burden for her to feel, right? Like that all of these people are feeling shocked all around the world because of a decision she made. Like I can't even imagine what that must feel like.
Yeah, and when you think about it, a lot of these YouTubers that were from that era, like Essene O'Neil, like she just dropped off the face of the planet. Raw Alignment was also around that time, and a lot of like had scandals. Like it's so stupid because it's just like they're just their life. It's not a scandal, but like you know, YouTube scandals, and it's like we're holding these people up to such a pedestal, and we're like totally not focused on ourselves and our activism. So when something like this happens, it's devastating to a community because they have so many followers.
Yeah, she feels kind of like the team captain. That's something I said in my video. So it feels kind of like, well, why don't you want to be on the team anymore? Like, and it makes other people feel like, well, do I want to be on the team? And a lot of times you make a decision and then it becomes habit and you just continue doing that. So you're almost like default vegan, right?
Yeah.
And you forget sometimes what those things were that really fired you up and inspired you to make this huge life change. And I think when something like this happens, it's really scary because it doesn't let you, or because it causes you to question yourself. And it can be a good thing, as I talked about in my video, to question yourself. And like I said, I think you'll come back to the same idea. Like, yeah, I'm still going to want to be vegan, but that initial reflection and that initial questioning is really scary sometimes.
Totally. And I think like we all probably felt that through watching her video, because I think she influenced all of us in some way on our vegan journey. And so to hear her, I think that's the thing that's so hard to process, is like you yourself, at least for me, like I feel so strongly in my vegan beliefs. Like I don't ever question it. I don't ever like feel like I need to not be vegan anymore. And then to have somebody who I thought was also on that page with me just completely abandon that is where it gets so confusing. Like how and why, and am I missing some sort of information? Like, do they know something I don't know?
Yeah.
Like, have I been not doing like my research? Like, you know, am I in the wrong? And it makes you question yourself. And it's hard, like, because we do idolize them, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of human nature to like look up to somebody.
It's insane because I feel like up until now we've had so many people be like, this whole narrative of like, you were never vegan if you stopped being vegan. I'm like, it needs to stop, like, because that's not what it's about. If you quit being vegan, you just stop caring about those issues. It sucks, and we don't want people to do that.
Yeah.
But like this everyone was like, you were never effing vegan, which I get. I'm mad. Like I don't want her to not be vegan, but especially as someone who's been chronically ill, and like I had a chronic pain disease. It's interstitial cystitis. I actually found out Nana Bellandy also went vegan because of that. Now I'm like, soulmates. But so it's so different why she stopped being vegan.
Yeah, she's really sick.
Like I've had people in my life stop being vegan, and I'm like, okay, that excuse is. Can I curse?
Yeah.
You're like, no. I'm like, so I've had people stop being vegan in my life, and they've told me why, and I'm like, that excuse is bullshit. Like that isn't a good excuse. Like you were happy and healthy, and you literally just wanted to stop because you didn't want to be vegan anymore, just because you wanted to buy leather, or because you wanted to eat out at restaurants with your friends, because you wanted to have a burger, because you wanted to fit in. And especially as someone who's been like marginalized my whole life, had a chronic disease, like being an outsider is something that you can take power from, especially if you're in a place of privilege where it's not endangering you, like I am. So I like, that's not okay with me. Like people stop being vegan because it's like not normal, and like I think that says a lot about personal responsibility and what you were getting from the vegan movement, because I don't think you were standing up for the animals who are like the underdogs, you know?
Yeah.
They're getting killed every day.
But I like how you differentiate between the two. Like in Bonny's case,
she didn't do that.
Right, exactly. And she's just trying to do the best she can. And I think that there's been a lot of videos that have come out that have said like, oh, she just has pimples, or oh, she, you know, is using this medical situation as an excuse. But imagine, like you said, having chronic illness and feeling just really scared and not knowing what to do and not knowing if it's right.
It is the scariest thing. I wasn't vegan when I was sick. Actually, what I got better from was being vegan, but like how a lot of these things like interstitial cystitis, how IBS, like all these inflammatory diseases are treated, is that you have to stop the inflammation and like generally like go back. And that's what she did. And like even to this day I get comments from people who are like, actually for IC you should be doing this, and I'm functionally cured, like I'm fine. But people, especially with Bonny, I was like, it made me so upset to see the comments, because of course, like I'm like, I wish you were vegan.
Yeah,
like I'm like, girl, come back.
I think she wishes she was vegan.
And
like
she
says
does.
that. She's having such a hard time with it.
Well, it's just like people love to give advice, and if someone's that sick, you have no idea what they've gone through. You have no idea how scary it is, and it makes. I've never been so ashamed to be vegan. honestly.
Because of the comments.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of the reaction videos, I think people, especially for me, when I was going through this, I was like a young, cute, pretty, thin girl, and doctors don't want to listen to that, and other people don't want to listen to that. I was so sick, because it's like an invisible illness. You don't see, like their arm's not broken, they're not in a cast. Bonny is a beautiful, thin, like young woman, and it's very hard to understand how someone who is so outwardly thriving and glowing can be that sick.
I have a little bit of a different opinion than the other girls on this, just because, like, I agree with you guys totally, but I also just kind of feel like I don't like the way that she titled the video.
Oh,
"Why I'm not vegan anymore." Yeah.
How come? I hadn't thought of that.
Because I feel like if I were to rewind my life back to where I wasn't vegan and I was looking into veganism and I was looking on YouTube and I found a video that's why I'm not vegan anymore, and let's say I were to watch Bonny's video, at that point in my life, I had severe gut issues, exactly what she's talking about, chronic gut issues, went to doctor after doctor, couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and I actually looked to veganism to cure my gut issues, and it did help so much.
And it helped her too initially.
Yeah. But back then, and even now, part of me watching that video is like, oh, fish and eggs cured your gut. Like, that's what it was. So, you know, I consider myself a strong person, and I'm not just going to take the word of one person as gold, and I'm going to do my research. But I know a lot of people, maybe younger people, more impressionable, aren't going to do that, and they are going to look up to her and they trust her and they feel like they know her, they feel like she's a big sister to them, and they're going to watch that video and be like, oh, well, this worked for Bonny, and I'm also having stomach issues, so I'm going to start eating fish and eggs again as well. And I just feel like because of the power that she has of being a big YouTuber, putting "why I'm not vegan anymore," she knows that video is going to get a ton of clicks, it's going to get a ton of views,
and she actually addressed that. She put out a bunch of Instagram stories that were like, why would you ever say this? But like, you know, why would you ever say that I would be doing this for the money, doing this for the views, doing this for the fame? Like, you have no idea about my life. And I'm like, that's valid. That's absolutely valid. But also, like, you can only know yourself, and putting "why I'm not vegan anymore" in the thumbnail that she did adds it to like the fire of the vegans who aren't doing, or the ex-vegans who are doing it for the clicks and the views.
So what should she have called it? What would have been like a better...
I don't know. Let's talk about something.
Or
I have a confession.
I'm extremely sick.
Yeah, my illness story. Updates about my life, my illness, and things like that. Because the way, if she says I'm not vegan anymore and all these people click on it, like, I don't know. If I were in her shoes and I had to go back to eating fish and eggs, I would be so ashamed and so, like, sad about it that I don't think I would want to tell her.
She was definitely ashamed.
Yeah, I think that she is too.
And I also think it's easy for us to see and look at, like, hindsight's 2020.
I haven't gone through it.
Yeah, like, hindsight's 2020. I'm sure, like, I know how crazy I was. Not crazy, I don't want to call her crazy. I know how hard it was for me to deal with reality when I was that sick and I was that lost. So I don't think... I like to give people the benefit of doubt. I don't think she purposefully was like, I'm going to put this, get a lot of clicks, because these are the videos that YouTube boosts with their algorithm. I don't, like, want to think that. In retrospect, I'm like, it should have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was also, it's there's no right. Like, she was also in a horrible place and really felt compelled to share the truth with us.
Yeah.
I think, though, what that sort of frustration, though, with some vegans, like, obviously she has a very specific case, but we know lots of people who have been vegan and aren't vegan anymore, and the idea of, like, okay, well then what are they eating? Like, are they eating, like, did they just bite into a chicken and they're like okay with that? And you start wondering, like, did everything go out the window, or is it just little things here and there, like they're eating crackers and they don't care if there's milk in it? Not that there's, like, really a hierarchy, it's all animal products, but you know what I mean? You start to go through this thought process and you start to question, like, what part of the vegan argument that they felt so strongly about did they stop caring about? And it can make you really frustrated, because you're like, why was that animal, like, when you know how that animal is treated, when you know that the baby cow is taken away from the mom, like, you know these things, why is it okay all of a sudden to, you know? And then,
well,
and then
I
you
feel
get angry.
like I understand why people are angry about that, and I can understand because I felt that too. I was like really pissed.
With Bonny in particular?
That's an understatement. With everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in Bonny's position, she's having extreme allergies to foods that are staples in vegan diets, and especially with stuff that she was talking about having, the kind of treatment is to go back and stop the inflammation before you like return. And even she like posted this thing on Instagram that said, making this change has been the hardest decision of my life, but we had both exhausted all of our options. I have been there.
Yeah.
And it's like, you literally, you don't know like if you should just die. And it's fucking hard. And like, I watch her and I'm like, I've been there.
Yeah.
Of course, for me, going vegan solved my problems. I was privileged. Doing the right thing helped me. Like, doing the morally right thing helped me. She did not have that luxury. She went from vegan back to not. And then she said, I'm only eating a small amount of fish and egg in my diet, only what is necessary to heal. My diet still heavily revolves around plant foods, and I will still continue to be as cruelty-free and as ethical as possible. How many of your non-vegan friends, people who've gone back, have done that? No one has.
There's so many non-vegans, like Mike the Vegan said, that are making like bacon mukbangs, and it's like they just totally throw everything out the window. And I think in Bonny's case in particular, like she's so aware of the ethical side of it, and she's really trying to make an effort. But after I made a response video, I made it the same day, so I got like a lot of the people who were mad at her came over to my video, and normally I'm making like vegan mac and cheese on my channel, so it's not that controversial. People aren't really leaving hate comments over there. But man, I really got to see firsthand what Bonny's dealing with. A lot of the stuff where people were just having conversations like this, like I don't agree with this or this makes me upset. Of course I left that. I encourage different points of view and conversation. But there were people who were losing their minds in the comments, and it was like one after the other, spamming my channel with threats, with really gross, aggressive stuff. And that was just me responding to a video and saying that we should be compassionate to her. So imagine what she's dealing with. And these are from presumed vegans. And I think this is what is the most upsetting, because it's like, yes, we can understand the frustration. Yes, we see that animals are being compromised and that they're being commodified, and yes, that makes us angry, and we all choose to you know do.
We're not saying don't be angry.
Be
angry.
We're angry. Like,
we're so angry.
But we can like, you can be angry at something and comprehend the vast complexity that goes within their decision. You know, like, I'm not stupid. I can comprehend it.
And if you haven't watched our last episode with Cassandra, go watch that, because that's amazing.
That came out the same day, which was very ironic.
So crazy.
What's funny about that is that people were like, why would I be compassionate about blah, blah, blah. I'm butchering this comment. They're like, there are animals being slaughtered every single day. It's like, no, we're trying to help you deal with your anger so that you can go out there and help those animals.
Effective.
Yeah, exactly. Use your anger in an effective way rather than just like
sitting in
throwing it at somebody.
Also, I think that people need to understand that they're not actually mad specifically at one individual. They're mad at the entire animal agriculture industry and the norm of eating living beings, and that people don't respond, and I said this in my video, people don't respond to you yelling at them. I mean, some people do. Like, Freely is definitely someone who makes really good videos that some people
on a side note, how exciting is it that Freely's finally making vegan content?
I know.
I was so surprised when I saw it.
I commented, I was like, finally.
And when she came out with that video, it's like, people, you're either gonna love her response or you're gonna hate it. You're gonna love Nicole's approach or you're gonna hate it. Like, that's okay. You can like respond, but like everybody's fighting for the same thing. So let's all just love and accept each other.
They were two very different responses, but I agreed with like parts each.
Yeah,
I'm not like, Freely's the best, do everything that she wants.
Right.
But I was like, yes, queen, this is the Freely we need. Like, come back. Like,
I had this really interesting conversation with a guy who commented under my response video, and he said, you should go watch Freely's video, you might learn something. And I wrote him back very calmly.
They're saying the same.
We were saying the same thing, and I said to him, and I said, I did see it and I agreed with a lot of the stuff that she said, but that's her messaging and she reaches a very specific audience with that type of messaging. I reach a different audience because what I do is I show how to eat vegan food and how delicious and tasty it can be, and that opens people's minds in a different way. You know, they might be reluctant to try something, but then they take a bite and it tastes good, and that might bring them down, you know, the road of wanting to try more food, and of course
maybe
it's
find the ethical side.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's like comes at you with the ethics first, and
so
like
I think
it's
that's
different.
frustrating.
It has worked.
It does work.
But she never does it in a threatening way.
No,
She does
exactly.
it in an upfront way, and just people are like really bad at doing
But we all have our different approaches, and we're all on the same team. But then after that, he responded and said that you can't be partially vegan, and that's something that Bonny said that she was doing. She was being like, she's still trying to be as vegan as possible or as plant-based as possible. And I was telling him, like, no, technically vegan means vegan, right? And I understand that that word is very sacred to a lot of people. But I think that it's never going to become the norm if you don't allow people to have a meatless Monday and celebrate that. And it's just math. If more people are more plant-based more often, fewer animals will die, and that's what you're upset about, and that's what you're angry about. And the way to be effective is to encourage that change and not expect this all or nothing thing. I'm sorry, it gets me fired up because I'm just like, if you are sitting here yelling behind a keyboard, and not directly to this guy and I actually had a nice conversation that ended very respectfully.
Oh, what a nice dude.
I know, right? Like, the internet can be that way sometimes, which is nice, but to all the people who are so like spewing anger on the internet, especially at Bonny, and just in the community in general, all this hate, like, you have to figure out a way to be effective. Like Cassandra was saying, use that anger to volunteer or to do something that makes you feel like you're actually
share a vegan recipe, take some bomb ass photos of vegan food, like spread pamphlets,
and
do what feels
other
good.
Vegans. Like, or people who are trying to do better, you know, be welcoming. When your friend is like, I tried a vegan, you know, I got a vegan coffee today. You're like, hell yeah, girl, like, that's awesome.
You're like, yes, queen,
yes.
veggie life.
Right? Like, just be happy for them, because that is gonna, I think that's gonna really make the difference. And that's how we're gonna see long-term lasting changes, which is what we all want.
You have to think back about yourself before you were vegan. You have to do it. You have to put yourself back in that place and think that if you were looking at vegan videos and you found Bonny Rebecca's video and you looked at the comments and you saw all the crazy comments, you'd be like, damn, vegans are crazy. Why would I want to be associated with that?
I literally seeing all those comments, I mean, people I like really love and respect, the way they like responded to Bonny, I was disgusted with. I have never wanted to like delete my whole channel, delete my YouTube, delete my Instagram, block everyone, and start a new life. More than, like, I've never felt like that, but I was like, I'm done. And I was just like, no, you can't let those people win. Like,
no, especially because what we've built is so amazing. You guys are so amazing. We know that you feel the same way as us, and we may just be this tiny little corner of the internet of vegans who are compassionate and open-minded.
Like, you guys are so much smarter than like these trolls in the comments who are just so mean. Like, I see the stuff you say, I see the stuff you post in our Facebook group, I see the stuff you comment and send me messages about on Instagram, and I'm like, you guys are some like really intelligent people, and this is gonna be a new wave. And if we stop, it's just gonna be a disaster after disaster like this over and over again.
Instead of funneling your energy into angry comments to somebody, for one person, like, who you're not gonna change her mind, and like you can't control her. Do like what you guys said, like start your own YouTube channel. Like, honestly, I want to be like, if you are gonna leave a shitty comment on this video and be hateful, take that time to go film a video of your own. Put that out there if that's what you believe. Like, no need to spread hate in like people who are trying to do something good.
I feel like we're getting very theoretical now, but so I kind of want to dial it back and talk about like what is not a good reason for quitting veganism. So with Bonny, I feel like this is a very different case. I don't think that, I think the video could have been done differently. I think that she could have framed it, had a different title, had a different thumbnail.
That's the only part that I'm
easy for me to say, because I'm watching it.
On.
It's easy for me to say that too, and I recognize that, like, because I'm from the outside and I've also been to the future and I know what happened. I wish what she said in her Instagram story had been a part of her video. Like, I'm not just stopping everything. I'm not going to buy leather, because, so this is going to our next point. What is not vegan? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many reasons people stop being vegan, and like this is just such a non-issue for me, because I'm like, she's sick, she's trying to get better. Like,
Yeah.
if she has the opportunity to try going 100% vegan, I know her, and I know from the response
Yeah.
she said, and I read earlier, that she's going to be trying it like all the time.
Of course.
Unless she comes out with a video that's like, I'm keto now, vegetarian. But like, for me, I think I was thinking so much about this, and I just kind of realized there are 2 instances where I'm like, I get why people stop being vegan. And that is when there's something like a chronic illness where you have to kind of work back. And especially if you have a chronic illness and you do like what Bonny is doing, buying ethically, not buying leather, not buying animal products whenever you can, like, get it. That's great.
She's
like,
still doing 90% good.
Yeah.
fantastic.
Versus 100%.
She just wanted to be truthful, and I know people like that. And Jordan Younger, Balanced Blonde, do you guys know her? She came out with
Heard
her
of her.
book, Breaking Vegan.
Mhm.
She was eating like 800 calories a day though.
But she had, to my next point, an eating disorder. And I think eating disorders is another reason that people can quit being vegan. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? It's mostly like, you gotta take care of you before you can take care of the animals. And I know that once you're okay, you're gonna come back.
Yes.
That's like my bottom line. And honestly,
agree.
I don't think there are any outpatient programs that allow people to be vegan when they have an eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have one and you're like struggling with it, like, you are not a lesser of a person because you have to do this to get better. I don't think Bonny is lesser of a person because she has to do this to get better. She's obviously going to come back or try to eat less meat than the average person.
Yeah.
But we've all had friends who've stopped being vegan for reasons
Who
that
don't have those reasons.
who don't have those reasons.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had quite a few friends stop being vegan. And it was actually like before I had gone vegan too. And mostly it was to fit in, and because they felt weird. It was just basically a convenience thing.
Mm-hmm.
None of these people were in food deserts. None of these people were traveling all the time for a job. Like, the food and lifestyle was readily available. They just didn't care enough about what is going on in the world, what the injustices in our society, the condition of the planet to,
Well, I think it
pony
goes
up.
back to what we were saying earlier, is like, you go vegan with all of this fire and all this information that kind of propels you forward, and each decision that you make is really loaded with information and also emotion because it's fresh in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But as the years go on, you forget because if you don't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Which is why it's really important to keep up with the documentaries and reading about it, and even just rewatching the ones that you've watched before, and also the new information that comes out. There's so much new information about the vegan diet that comes out all the time. And I think like the more you stay up to date with that, the more you keep that fire in your belly that's going to keep you going, versus like if you just become complacent, it's a lot easier to realize or to feel like it's not that big of a not that big of a deal if you have a little bit of eggs in your in your whatever brownie.
And in that case, I know I've said earlier, you could say, like, let's stop saying this, you're not vegan in the first place, because I feel like people just like throw that out because it was memed so much.
Yeah.
But like in that case, those people weren't really vegan. Like they stopped not because of life-threatening reasons. They just were like, I'm bored with this activism. Like, Christopher Sebastian has a good essay, maybe I'll try to find it, about it. It's just basically how people find causes and then they get bored of them and they find something more rewarding than the cause, which sounds so much like veganism. They just kind of like go to the next thing. And that's very common. And I feel like a lot of why I'm no longer vegan videos.
I think I've like thought about this a lot, and something that comes to mind is the fact that I think certain people might feel like they're like missing something in their life, and they fill that with veganism. And
that's exactly
these
what
are
this essay says.
Yeah, these are the same people who like jump into veganism full force and don't look back. And then they can also just as easily jump out of it because it was more about filling that void for themselves and feeling like they had a purpose or something.
Very good point, Hannah.
than
it's like a
actually
hobby.
like caring about the cause.
It's like a hobby.
Yeah.
It's like, what should my videos be themed about? What should my lifestyle, like, it's a lot.
And sadly, I know we don't want to admit it, but like veganism on YouTube was a really trendy thing for a while, and
Yeah.
that's what was getting clicks. So I would hate to think that somebody would make a full channel based off of the fact that they might get more views and clicks, but
We're not saying Bonny did that.
No. And this is just general.
In general.
We're just talking like in general, and there's been a lot of big vegan YouTubers who like rode that wave and then hopped off. And I just can't help but kind of feel like maybe they were never fully in it. Like their heart wasn't 100% in it.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to what she was saying about you have to be, like she was saying, you can't become vegan if you are chronically ill or if you have an eating disorder, and that is because you're not in the right frame of mind to be able to make a conscious choice like that. I think veganism, even though it does start with a diet for so many people, it does require a self-awareness that some people don't have, or they have more of an underdeveloped sense of self. And I think it really does require you like reflecting and looking within and trying to grow as a person to be able to make these conscious choices, because it's not just what kind of bread am I going to eat today, or what kind of meal am I going to have for dinner. It's so much more than that. And the unexamined life is, it's impossible to like continue growing down this path if you're not kind of keeping up with that and doing the work on yourself.
Yeah.
Well, so many people, I think even Bonny said this, like, say they got so lost in their vegan identity.
Yeah,
that
like
they
that was all
who
they were.
Which I'm like, this is a very valid phenomenon, because for me, like, I'm never gonna not be vegan.
Yeah.
Unless someone forces me to eat meat, like, or like I start dying and I'm like, oh fuck, like,
Yeah.
the fucking ADA is like, you gotta eat a little meat. I'll be like, okay, guess it's not. But for now, they say it's fine. But like, for me, being vegan, and we've all said this on the show, is like this much about our life. Like when we hang out, we're not just like vegan, what did you eat, smoothie bowls? Like, but like, it's such a small, teeny tiny part of my life.
Like your affirmations at the end of the night, I'm like, I am vegan. I am so vegan. I am so very vegan.
Mother Earth, so vegan. Like that's not, I'm like thinking about other shit. Like I'm sorry, like it's just something that's a part of my life. And it's a tiny...
And you're passionate about it. It's a big part of your life, but you have a big heart and a big mind with lots of room for lots of passions.
Like my identity isn't like, I'm a vegan. It's like, no, I'm a woman of color. I'm mixed. I'm an actress, a woman in this world, and then like a male actor. Like I don't even think, and then it's not just like, I'm a vegan and all these things, but all those things inform why I'm vegan and why I'm vegan for animals.
I love that you said that. That is so interesting. I never, when I think about when I'm going to introduce myself as someone, I'm always like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an YouTuber,
exactly.
I'm a social media influencer, I'm an author. Like I'm never like,
I'm vegan.
I'm a vegan.
It's like the last thing I tell
That's
people.
so interesting, but you're right. But all of those things are very much in alignment with the fact that I'm vegan, and I love being vegan so much. But it's not my only thing. That's so interesting.
Yeah, well, that's why on this channel, I'm like, where am I?
We're filming this whole.
I feel like we're having a conversation. Yeah. But it's like on our channel, we've made a very valiant, if I do say so. I feel like I should cut that out, but it's fine. I feel like we've made a very strong effort to encourage different vegans, like people who have completely different views from ourselves, people who have different political views, social views, people who are in different communities, different races, like people who have had different experiences coming to veganism on the show, because we want to show like a vegan isn't just this idyllic, beautiful white woman. Like so many, when we started going vegan, that's
what
much
YouTube was.
And like I remember going to my first meetup and being like, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not like, my skin's not clear enough, and now I'm like, I know.
I'm a model. Anytime you want to go, it'll be funny. We can finish the video without you.
It's like this idyllic phase of veganism. Like this is how we're gonna get people, and I'm like, this ain't working anymore. And like that's not what it's about. We're attracting the wrong people to this.
Yeah. And I want to go back to like what you said about like being more than your veganism. Like I feel like sometimes it may seem like that's how everybody else just sees you, as the vegan, because I think a lot of times like the non-vegan people in your life, it's the first thing they tell people. Like I used to go out to eat with one of my boyfriend and I would go out to eat with one of our friends, and he doesn't do this anymore because he actually eats a lot of vegan food now.
Ooh,
but he used to always be like, we'd sit down at the restaurant and he'd immediately be like, they're vegan, and I'm like, please, we don't need to shout to the restaurant that we're vegan, or he'd like introduce us to people, they're vegan, like,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes it can make you feel like, oh, everyone just sees me as this weird vegan person,
Yeah.
and they don't see me for who I am, and like, it's up to you to like control that. Like, you have to like let that roll off you, because that's just a part of being different. And like you said, like being marginalized, it's not cool.
Yeah.
Like it's
But you
being
can't
different
control
is not
how you
always
come
cool.
across to other people. Like,
right. You can only control how you feel about yourself.
Yeah,
And
don't let other people put their like perceptions of
Yeah.
you on you. Like, they do this in a lot of acting classes, but you like write out what you think you are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes they can try to, like, some classes will be like, you're not that. But no one can tell you you are not that. Like, they can tell you, that's just one person's opinion.
Yeah.
Our camera stopped. But as I was saying, no one can tell you what you are. And I think just a part of, a lot of these people are in their early 20s when they're kind of becoming
Yeah.
vegan. When they're
Or
becoming
they're just not
vegan.
secure in themselves. Like at any age. Like
Well,
I know people in their 50s who aren't secure in themselves.
I didn't know what I was when I was like 20. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm a girl, I think. Like, you know, I think. And so I was just like trying to just figure out where my place was in this world. And I think that a lot of young people, when they see veganism, they're like, ooh, something I can be.
Yeah.
Like, I know,
Yeah.
Because it is kind of a hobby, like finding new recipes,
yeah,
learning about
finding new
nutrition.
places to eat. Like it takes up a lot of time, and it really is fun.
And identity.
And, like, yeah.
well, that's why a lot of like high schoolers go vegetarian. I don't remember who, I think it was a Rich Roll podcast. They talked about like how a lot of people go vegetarian as an identity, because it sounds like you care about animals, and you're like, I care about animals. And then it's just not, they haven't explored other parts of themselves that understand like why they're drawn to a social justice movement. And for me, I'm like, it's like for all of us,
Yeah.
we've all been through like some shit. And we all can empathize with marginalized beings, and we're like, yeah, this is right. And we know that veganism is healthy and safe for all walks of life. So it's very easy for us to sit and have a YouTube channel about this and feel good that we are putting good stuff out there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys, and not specifically about Bonny, but just whenever someone in your life has decided that they don't want to be vegan anymore, and you have that anger, like I was thinking a lot about how I handle that kind of thing. And yeah, sometimes I get frustrated, but I realize that I'm really quick to forgive. And I've thought for a second,
Yeah.
is that a
Wait,
bad
you're
thing?
so, you and him, I think I'm vegan, but
You're not.
you guys are like the most giving and nice people like I've ever met. And for me, like, Jesse's always like, are they dead to you? I'm like, dead to me. This is mostly about restaurants.
That's because you have a Scorpio. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I've thought about it, and I think like, is it a weakness, or do I not care? And I think it's actually an interesting thing to think about, because I was like, I'm very willing to forgive when this happens and say like, you're on your own path, and I still want to, you know, hold a mirror to them, and I want to be able to like, you know, slide my little comments in when I think it's helpful, or I still want to share vegan meals with them. But I think that I'm quick to forgive, and I thought, why am I, if I say I care about the animals as much as I know that I do, why am I so like that? And I thought it's because honestly, and this might be a little bit selfish, but honestly, I don't like being angry.
Yeah.
And
You're
I don't
freeing yourself.
Yeah, I don't like being angry.
that's
I don't like
interesting.
being upset, and it is more of a hassle for me to go around being angry with them, because when I'm angry and something festers in me, I'm Scorpio, it like festers,
Yeah.
and it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So I think I've gotten, as a defense mechanism, really good at letting that go, because I don't want to feel that way.
Well, that's
so
funny
it's not
you
this
say that,
altruistic
'cause
thing.
For me, I like, for me being overly nice to someone, or just being nice to someone when I like don't like them, I'm like, it's a lot of my energy.
Yeah, it is a lot of energy.
Because
You won't do it.
Because if I genuinely like you, you'll feel it, and
Yeah.
it's easy. Like, being nice and kind is like easy for me, just because I really like a lot of like, I like all of the people I surround myself with. Like, I fucking love my friends.
Yeah.
I love like the people in my life. But for me, like, even being nice or being mean is a lot of external energy that I'm like, I have to save that
Yeah.
for people who like really matter, who I really need to be there for.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I have a bunch of friends stop being vegan or go vegan for a week or a month and then stop, but like, they're dope people. They're amazing human beings. And of course I want to still be their friend. But then like, there have been some people who I was like, oh, you were only friends with me because I was vegan. And we have like, and it's just, you know, the whole fraction I was talking about, like the amount of times you've screwed me over over the amount I've known you, like that's always very present in my mind. And like the longer I think about stuff like that, I'm like, oh, this person is really not allowing me to be my best self because they're taking so much of my energy out.
No, I think that's good that you cut that out.
So it's nothing about like vegan or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think just like with friends in general, something that I'm working on, because I also feel like I forgive people. I for a long time like would just hold a grudge and cut people out completely very quickly, but then I found that that was making me a very like angry person and like holding on to a lot of stuff. So I found that I have been able to just kind of like forgive a lot more quickly. But I think there is something to be said about the toxic friendships in your life, and you can forgive them, but not let them all the way in your life anymore. And that's
how
like,
many people?
I don't think that makes you weak for forgiving them.
No.
You're only weak if you forgive someone and you allow them to take advantage of you.
And
just
like let it go and don't give it energy.
I think
it's not an active thing, like cutting people out. It's a very like peaceful. It gives you a lot of peace.
Especially if you don't do it in a dramatic way. Like you kind of just do the slow burn of like just creating more space between you and that person. But I just think it's interesting because I got so many comments on my video, and I have to say 95% of them were super positive, and I'm so grateful that there are so many vegans who understand that veganism is ultimately about compassion. But for the people who are saying like you don't understand, you're missing the point. It's not. If you cared about the animals, you would be so angry, you'd be so fired up. So again, it just held a mirror up to me and made me question, like, is the fact that I feel that I'm pretty easy to forget, or I forgive easily, does that mean that I actually don't care? And what I think it does is it helps me understand how it can be effective. Like, I can forgive this person because I don't have the energy to waste giving it to them being angry. Instead, like, they can go live their life, do whatever. I'm not going to think about them, and I'm going to continue. There's this book called Slay in Your Lane, which is about something completely different. But I love the concept. I love the term slay in your lane. Like, you can only be effective in so many areas. So like, find what you're good at and how you can help something that you genuinely care about, and put all of your attention into that instead of like making someone else wrong, or like letting someone else that you can't control affect you and actually minimize the impact that you have on the world.
A lot of it for me is like, I think about you guys, and I'm like, I feel very compelled to help and be a friend and be a voice to you guys, and I'm like, these people in my life who are toxic, who are blaming, who are trying to make me feel bad for being myself, like, if I give them energy and I try to coddle them and like bring them back into my life, like, that takes away from my energy from you guys. Like, that takes away from my like, I believe God-given purpose, like why I was put here. Like, it's just selfish for me to try to make peace with everything in my life and not like be living my purpose, you know?
Okay, so this is like kind of random, but it's something else I've been thinking about, and it's people who were vegan, who stopped being vegan because they felt like they weren't losing any weight by being vegan, and they feel like there's better ways of eating out there that will make you skinnier, because there's this whole world out there of beautiful keto models and all that thing. I mean, you can find anything on the internet.
The trainer on The Biggest Loser had like 17,000 abs, like smoking hot bod, had a heart attack because of all of that plaque from the keto diet and the high protein diet he was eating. So like the way I just get really upset about that, because it's just what's on the outside is an indication of what's on the inside, but it's also very much not.
To a point.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not working out, I like sit on my couch all day. I'm like, why don't I have abs? And I'm like,
and like, if you're eating processed foods and things that come out of a box all the time, and you're like, why don't I feel good about myself? It's like, well, eat vibrant foods that are alive. But again, I don't think that was the point. I think you were saying that some people focus so much on the way that they look that they can totally throw
out all the ethics and all of like that, because they feel like their body image of themselves is more important than the animals. I don't know.
But if someone was like, you know what, Hannah, you would actually lose like 10 pounds if you just ate a golden retriever every day. Like every day, just a little golden retriever, it's fine.
That's how absurd it is.
That is to me too.
Especially like, I scroll through Instagram, I follow so many animal accounts, and I see so many people who aren't vegan posting like baby pigs, like kissing pigs kissing a kid, and like, oh my god, it's so cute, and I'm like, you probably ate that today, like, what the fudge? Like, people have pigs as pets now. They're basically like dogs. Like, I don't understand. I think it's kind of frightening to me how easy it is to like put the blindfold back on.
Oh yeah.
How do you do that?
Why would you want, like, unless you were very passionate about making some kind of change in the world, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to focus on self and not look outward.
And you know,
that's not only just to veganism, it's like all the stuff going on in the world. Like,
I also think that like as humans, we make so many mistakes. Like, we are not perfect. No one is perfect every day. Like, NISHA and I are like, we can't get rid of our clothes. Like, we're trying to KonMari our houses right now, and like we're like beating ourselves up over it. Like, we're just not perfect people. Like, sometimes you might like do something and you're like, oh, that was bad, I shouldn't have done that. Like, but like you carry on with yourself and you forgive yourself. So part of me wonders if people just like go back to eating meat and they're like, well, I'm just not perfect, I don't know.
Well, your brain can literally like change memories where you like can pass a lie detector test. You know, your brain's very strong, so make sure you're...
I feel like if I was taking a lie detector test, I would be telling the truth, and I'd be so nervous that it would look like I was lying. I don't like that.
But you know you can convince yourself, because
you can literally
I've seen
change
so many crime
memory.
shows where they like, where somebody will convince themselves that they're guilty because they've been
this
told
happens
that
in
they're
so many-
guilty.
so many abusive
times.
relationships, so many
Yeah.
like crime
Yeah.
shows.
And you can actually
people who
picture
are
it in your
falsely
mind.
in jail. Yeah, it happens. Like, it's also in like abusive relationships. Like, one partner will tell someone certain things over and over again. They'll
And
have,
they
like,
believe
a big
it's
sit
true.
down and they'll like keep rehashing it, and then they'll realize like, oh yeah, you know what? I am a horrible person. I'm gonna stay with you. Like, the mind is a powerful thing. Just keep doing you, boo.
Yeah.
Just go vegan. No. Please do though.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the moral of all of this is just for us to like sit down, tell you guys how we feel in an honest conversation.
That it's complicated. I think you can tell by the
It's
direction of the
complicated.
conversation that it's complicated. Like,
There's
first of all,
no-
every situation is unique.
Yeah.
And also, there's so many layers to it. But I think the thing that is the common denominator between all of us and between, I think, most of the vegan community is that compassion is number one. And I think it's like one of the things that inspired us so much to make this video was for those people who were like really, really angry and felt like, well, you don't understand. And we're like, no, we do understand, but it's complicated and that can't all be conveyed in a short little comment or even a 15-minute video sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
And you guys asked for this, so I hope it was like everything you dreamed it would be.
If there's anything we didn't cover or a point of view that we didn't get to that you guys feel really strongly about, go ahead and comment below, because we love when you chime in with your points of view also.
And just one more thing, I think a lot of this has to do with people feeling out of control. Like, you cannot control what other people do. You can control what you do.
Slay in your lane.
Yeah, slay in your lane, you know? It's like that whole story of Michael Phelps, like, he just doesn't look in any other swimmer's lane, and that's how he wins. Like, you gotta win in your lane.
It's such a thing that you'll have to learn like your whole life. I feel like it's a common thing that I'm still like learning how to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, control. Like, you really can only
We've said
control
this
yourself.
so many times too
Yeah.
in videos.
Well, I feel like I've had friendships fall apart, and I always feel so devastated by it because I feel like I was not in the same friendship as this person, because I obviously felt so much more strongly about our friendship than this person did if they feel like they can just throw it away.
Yeah.
And I just have to like accept that like I can't control that person. I can't control how they feel about me. I can tell them how I feel and hope that they understand and see my point of view. And if they do, great. If they don't, then like my life is better without them, kind of thing. Like, it's just
no, and you shouldn't feel bad for people who like don't want to associate with you or leave after being vegan, because like they weren't really your friend in the first place. They weren't rooting they were rooting for you in the first place. And like, I've heard it said that if you have at least like one friend, that's as many friends as the human brain needs. So like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if it's your mom or dad or dog, like, you're good. Find someone who deserves your energy.
yeah, if you have a real friend, real life friend that you feel like has abandoned you, or you feel like a YouTuber's abandoned you because
It feels like a friend.
Yeah, it feels like a friend because they're not vegan anymore. Just funnel that into your friendships that do matter and do like it is reciprocated. Funnel that into your YouTubers that you watch that are like on board with you and on the same page as you. Like, no need to like spread the hate or like waste your time with.
Find
Anger.
Find some more people you resonate with. Find some more people who are like really in it just like you are, who you relate to. Like, it doesn't have to be just one.
Yeah. Use it as fuel to spread your message. Like, if you are on board with us and you feel super strongly about veganism like we do, then just get out there and talk about it, and like in a positive way, and that's going to be the best way.
Sharing recipes on your, like, if you watch a YouTube video, like, share that video on your Facebook page. You never know who's going to find it. Before we go, I wanted us all to maybe go through and say some of the best resources that we have for like why, like, vegan information, or what inspired us to go vegan initially. Like, for me, just so everyone can have a refresher if you're feeling like you need that. Right now, for me, Forks Over Knives is a huge one. I think that one is so good. It's a little slow in the beginning, but it's so worth it. There's a YouTube video here called 101 Reasons to Go Vegan. That one took me, this was when I was first interested. I was like vegan curious. It took me like 3 times before I actually watched more than 10 minutes, because it's a filmed lecture in like in a classroom, and it felt very sort of dry, and I wanted to watch the colorful, fun YouTube videos of like the vegan mac and cheese recipes. I didn't want to do this, but you can listen to a podcast style, and it's pretty long, but once things started clicking for me, I was so hungry for that kind of information, and this is a really interesting speech that I highly recommend. And then also Dr. Greger's book called How Not to Die. It's not 100% specifically vegan, but it's about plant-based, and he has the first half of the book is plant-based information, and the second half is his daily dozen of 12 foods that you should be eating every day, and he has a checklist that you can use. We've talked about that as well. I think it's a really, really helpful resource that will get you really fired up. And when you're eating the bowl of salad, like literally last night I was eating this like trough of salad, like a massive bowl, and I was thinking about for a second, because sometimes I just do it without even thinking, and I actually was thinking like, this has kale and romaine, like this is doing this and this nutritionally, and I was really excited. I was like, I'm eating kidney beans, so I'm getting iron, I'm getting this and that, and I was so pleased, like actually thinking about the, you know, menagerie of nutrients I was getting. I was like, yes, killing it right now.
I feel like we've been friends for a really long time now, because you said a trough of salad, and I used to say that in all my what I eat in a day videos.
That's hilarious.
And I was just
becoming the same person.
I was like, my heart is somewhere.
It felt like a trough. I felt like I was just like shoveling it.
Like, I'm a horse.
I can't.
Nice vegan horse.
What do you guys think? Like, what are yours?
Vegucated was the documentary I watched that really like hit it home for me, and it hit it home for my boyfriend as well. Like I had started to just watch little informational videos here and there, and had like slowly transitioned into veganism, but Vegucated is one that I feel like, I don't know, like I do tend to like still educate myself here and there, but I really don't think I'll ever get those images out of my head. Like I really don't think I ever will. But like you said, it's important, because I think people get caught up in their daily life. They start thinking selfishly. So for me, the animals are like a big part of why I'm vegan. So I follow a ton of animal accounts, and I'll link my favorites down below. Just seeing like pigs and cows that are cuddling, and like goats and like and chickens. Like I can't ever think of them as food again. Just seeing like how sweet they are, and how smart they are, and how loving they are, and how they are living creatures that don't want to die. But yeah, that does it for me. And then I follow a lot of people in the vegan community. I follow people that I've met in real life. Like I'm just so lucky and blessed that living in LA, we've gotten to meet so many amazing vegan activists and people that are out there doing good things in the community. And like those are very real life, concrete evidences to me as to like I'm doing the right thing. Like there's people out here, like they're fighting the good fight as well. And yeah, so I feel like you guys are gonna have way more of the informational, like scientific stuff than me. For me, it's a lot emotional, very emotional based, but yeah.
But that's good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I want to recommend stuff that's not vegan, but I'm gonna do it. For me, I just think so much of stopping being vegans, because like I see all these young people, like that's their whole thing, and that's just like everything about them. So I want to like encourage you to know more about yourself. So to stay vegan, I would really encourage you to read How to Stop Feeling Like Shit. It talks about like all the coping mechanisms that we do that are self-sabotaging. It's like a really good book. And then the JC Marie and Chelsea What We Said podcast about toxic people, linked down below. It is really good. It's a very good way of how to focus on yourself and to not give energy to things that don't serve you, so you can put that energy into like things like activism and being a good person. So that's really good. And then just like the universal like health, whatever, what is it called, American Academy of Health or whatever, says you can be vegan. Just read that, just peruse that every once in a while and be like, oh yeah, it is suitable for all stages of health. I think we trick ourselves into thinking that veganism is a new age thing. I talked about this on a podcast I was just on.
It's not a new thing. Like,
it's not a new thing.
Don't even go down that hole of YouTube of people like, talking about how like nobody's been vegan long enough. That is some bullshit talk.
That is some like.
People are like, veganism has only been around for a few decades.
So
that's some like classist, like that is, it's not true. Like very like poor people have eaten this way. A lot of different
look at other countries,
a lot of cultures, religions. Like it's
since the 1800s. There's hundreds of years of information.
Yeah, like don't trick yourself into buying into this. Like veganism is a new age thing. It's not. Like our planet is dying and people need to start eating less meat.
Yeah. And I feel like people will sometimes take one little article or two little articles and be like, oh, guess it's okay to keep doing what I was doing. And it's like, well, no. Like
it's like, this has been happening for a long time. Like you read like a couple things and you're like, yep, back to the standard American diet. But yeah, so definitely, so I just think more than reading any articles, more than like reading, this is like what I would have recommended. Work on yourself, figure shit out. Like, there's nothing you can't. It's like when you're on a plane, they're like, please assist yourself before assisting other people. Like I'm like, can everyone do that with everything? And like everyone's messed up. Just like work on yourself so you can like put that sunshine and that light to other people.
Yeah. Amen. Go to therapy.
This is our therapy. No.
Just kidding. Cut that out.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Well, I feel good. Do you guys feel good?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. If you liked our video, please give it a thumbs up so people watch this, and comment, like, subscribe. You can check out our Facebook group. It's pretty dope. Everyone's really nice in there.
We have a lot of these kind of conversations there.
Also, I guess you guys should probably hit the bell notification. I think that YouTube's doing some weird thing with the algorithm. I know our last few videos, I feel like some of you guys didn't see them.
Yeah. So everyone was like, where's the video for this week? And I was like, it's up. It's up, guys.
So you don't want to miss a video, definitely do that.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We love you so much.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.